Hey, well, thank you for having me, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm gonna read chapter one. It's a very short book. Uh, it's made for busy people to be able to get a quick overview of uh, creating a culture of safety and even how to get started as quickly as possible. So I really wanted to focus on the first chapter of why we need safety to begin with. So I'll read it a little bit to you, and then we can have a conversation and some Q&A afterwards. So why safety? Without safety, we literally cannot think. Why is this the case? The truth is that although our external environment has changed dramatically, our brains have not evolved that much in the last 10,000 years. They are still designed to detect and protect us from threats to our survival. Although threats no longer show up as predators waiting to eat us, we do face both physical and psychological threats in our lives all the time. Here's a few examples. An angry message from a client or stakeholder, the diagnosis of an unexpected illness, losing a great team member, yet another company reorg, missing a target or deadline, a new leader joining the team, a car barreling toward you as you step into the street, giving an important presentation. While the brain has deep interconnections and cross connections among all its different regions, threats to our survival are processed in a very specific sequence. First, external input from our five senses and information from our body is transmitted up from the brainstem to the primitive brain, where it's checked for a threat. It does not matter if the threat is real or imagined. The primitive brain understands only survival and protection. It loves whatever it feels will keep us safe and fears and hates whatever it feels will do us harm. As soon as that region of our brain detects a threat, without any ability to discern between a hungry lion or an angry stakeholder, it begins the carefully orchestrated yet near instantaneous sequence of hormonal changes and physiological responses that helps us to deal with the threat. The hormones cortisol and adrenaline are released as our body prepares to fight, flight, freeze, or faint. These are the only commands the primitive brain knows and the only choices it is able to make. Physically, we may experience a racing heart, heat in the face or body, lightheadedness, tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, and sweaty palms. According to research, all of these changes happen so quickly that people usually aren't aware of them. In fact, the wiring is so efficient that the brain starts this hormonal cascade even before the visual centers have had a chance to fully process what is happening. That's why people are able to jump out of the path of an oncoming car before they even see it. So our primitive brain certainly has its benefits. Next, the information passes from our primitive brain to our mammalian brain, which is in charge of our emotional processes. We might feel scared and then relieved to have been able to jump out of the way of that oncoming car. And lastly, the information enters the rational brain, which is in charge of language, thought, reasoning, and analysis. This is the part of our brain that we use for thinking. Our thinking mind is third in line after our primitive and mammalian brains. That's why when we put a hand on a hot frying pan, the hand jerks away instantly while our brain goes, "What just happened?" Oh, it doesn't go out first and then moves the hand. The hand moves first. So here's the interesting part. The primitive brain is strong enough to override our thinking brain whenever it senses real or imagined danger. If the primitive brain registers a threat, our rational brain quiets down and our operating IQ drops between 50 and 70 points. This is half of the operating IQ when we are in a calm state, which is between 100 and 200 points. Half. So when we're in survival mode, we no longer have the ability to think, collaborate, or be creative. In this state, we do not have the capacity to handle complex situations or make good decisions. I'm going to move forward a little bit and talk about what is safety. In this book, when I'm talking about safety, the type of safety that allows people to think, collaborate, and innovate, I'm referring to three types of safety. Physical safety, that belief that every body, and here I mean every physical body, is valued, respected, and included. Emotional safety, the shared belief that all emotions are valid and the expression of any emotion is welcome. And psychological safety. And this comes from Dr. Amy Edmondson, who says the shared belief that no one on the team will embarrass or punish anyone else for admitting a mistake, asking a question, or offering a new idea. The three types of safety map to the primitive brain, that's the physical safety, the mammalian brain, emotional safety, and the rational brain for psychological safety. When people are safe in these three ways, they can operate at their highest IQ and are capable of analytical thinking, creative insight, and collaborative problem solving. What is important to notice about all three types of safety is that they're all created in relationship with others. When we feel connected and secure in our interpersonal relationships, our nervous system can relax, allowing us to access our intelligence. And this makes sense from a biological standpoint because we're hardwired to belong to a tribe that can protect us from outside threats. And unfortunately, most of us don't feel a sense of safety in our work tribes. And the symptoms that indicate weak and unsafe work relationships shows up as follows. People don't ask many questions during meetings. People don't feel comfortable owning up to mistakes or place blame on others when mistakes are made. The team avoids difficult conversations and hot button topics. Executive and team leaders tend to dominate meeting discussions. People don't often venture outside of their job descriptions to support other teammates. People don't ask one another for help when they need it. And there are hardly any disagreements or differing points of view. People don't know each other personally, just professionally. When our internal work relationships don't feel safe, we spend our time and energy protecting ourselves from one another instead of learning, collaborating, and responding to external changes. The tools and practices presented in this book for creating a culture of safety are focused on strengthening interpersonal relationship with safety as the outcome of those relationships. And that is most of chapter 1.